Remember when VGK scouts were at 5 consecutive Washington Capitol games last month, according to reports? Well, VGK was not scouting Max Pacioretty. That was a McCrimmon smokescreen. On Tuesday, VGK acquired Caps winger Anthony Mantha for draft picks. Coming up ahead, we will fill you in on this deal and much, much more right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Locked On Golden Knights. I think VGK is continuing to troll me because they signed someone named Anthony. Okay, so last month, the Washington Post, they had a report from Bailey Johnson. Recall this? VGK had scouts at 5 straight Washington Capitol games. Those games at home versus Montreal, Florida, Boston, and Vancouver, and the road games are at Florida and Boston. It is and was no secret that the Golden Knights coveted a winger, as we know, to basically replace Riley Smith, because then the domino effect, they filled in with Paul Cotter, Pavel Dorofeev, all of that. Couldn't get it done at that spot. On Tuesday, VGK traded a couple of draft picks, and they traded for Anthony Mantha. He should fit in very well because why? He's had a career of injuries, the history, 20 goals in 56 games. However, this season, on track to break his career best of 26 goals. Golden Knights, in return, give up this season's second-round draft pick, and then in 2026, they will give up a fourth rounder. But most important, the Capitals retaining half of Mantha's salary. So only $2.85 million counts against the VGK cap. I know that you like Mantha because he has played in the queue, I think, first and foremost. I know you're a big fan.
120 points, 23-14 with the Valdor Foyers.
I knew. Well, yeah, we can't escape that.
I knew that off the top of my head. I didn't even read that off Hockey DB right next to me. I knew that.
A big body at 6'4", 234, but not that type of player, folks. He's a finesse dude. He will fit in. But where does he fit in when VGK, currently, and then where will he fill in when VGK is at full strength for cooking the books when Mark Stone returns in the postseason?
Oh, there you go. Now you sound like the rest of them. So first of all, just talking about the player, then where he might fit in. Go on YouTube, find like his, I don't know, just like the video I've been watching is his 2019-2020 season highlights, and scores a lot of goals from in tight around the slot, drives the net hard, big body. You mentioned 230, probably even a few pounds more than that. Who knows? 234. Don't forget the 4 pounds. So big body, drives to the net, going to get greasy, going to do what Cassidy's been begging this team to do for, his entire tenure in Vegas for the last season and a half. It's a good fit for the Golden Knights because it does. I mean, no one's replacing Mark Stone. Let's be clear about this. But this replaces the void in the lineup that Mark Stone left behind when he unfortunately got injured. Right now, like the second line in the game against the Blue Jackets, and that game is an overstatement. When the Golden Knights took the ice against the Blue Jackets, that sounds a lot better. On the right side between with Carlson and Stevenson. So they moved Stevenson to the wing that game. Carlson was center. If they're going to do and Amadio was the right winger. If they're going to do just the smallest of changes to get him going tomorrow now against the Canucks, you toss him on the right wing on that line. But I don't think he's the only new face that's going to be coming. So we'll talk more about that in one of the, looks like the second segment. But for now, I would just simply shift Amadio down. That's the only thing that needs to happen.
Is Washington still paying favors to the made man, George McPhee. Like, who else would trade with VGK but a team like
Everyone's
Washington?
got a price. Everyone's got a price. Knock it off.
Yeah, this is a typical, though, however, Kelly McCrimmon scout job. But we reported those reports from the Washington Post from Bailey Johnson. And yeah, they were all over the Washington Capitals. And Mantha's name was mentioned. And that had to be a smokescreen, though, about Pacioretty. There's no way that they would bring back Pacioretty, who took some good shots at VGK on the way out.
Alan Walsh. Those are the two words as to why Pacioretty's not coming back.
That's for sure. What do you make of this trade? Do you like this?
Yeah, I like the trade. I mean, no disrespect to Amadio and Cotter and Howden when he was healthy, and all these different players, Brisson. I mean, all these different players that have been Briso, yes, all these different players that have been playing up that haven't been getting it done consistently on the top six. And who knows? I mean, listen, Mantha, it's a nice move. Like, looking at his points, I mean, I think the Golden Knights are really hoping they found this year's Barbashev as far as what Barbashev was able to contribute down the stretch, and more importantly in the playoffs. Although Mantha does not have a playoff goal in his career yet, only looks like 11 career games in the playoffs with the Capitals. Looking at some of his point totals, best seasons came in 17-18 and 18-19, 48 points. This season, 34 points, 56 games. So he's flirting with his career high in points. Oh, man. Tony will have a ball with that if the Golden Knights sign him next season. They bring him back. So plus 10, then a minus 14 1 year. So, I mean, he's not like, this isn't the big move. This is not what the move that's going to bring the Golden Knights to the Stanley Cup. It's a precursor to something else that's going to be happening. So it's a good complementary piece. And if whatever the next thing that happens is that drops him down to the third line, I like it even better.
And here is a player that started out, they had high hopes for him, huge expectations in the Red Wings organization. And then he was moved to Washington, to the Capitals, as you mentioned, a complimentary piece. And so
he wasn't bad in Washington.
No, but he's a complimentary piece, and everyone comparing him because he came from.
He's a middle six guy.
Washington.
He's a middle six guy.
Okay, everyone comparing him because he came from Washington to Chandler Stevenson and the move that VGK made there, and they have made all the right moves. What's that?
I said I'll take that all day.
Yeah. I'm just curious how he fits in. What, yeah, and remember, I did say, oh yeah, there's going to be some new pieces or a new piece on Thursday. You said no, wait till Saturday. So he'll play. He's going to play on Thursday night.
God, I would be shocked if he wasn't. I'd be surprised if he wasn't in Vegas for practice today. I mean, I don't know what the situation is and how long teams give the player to get all this worked out. I think he's in the lineup tomorrow, whether he practices or not today, to be completely honest with you. It's very important that he's in the lineup right now.
And you think he'll be online too?
I think if no more trades are made, I think he's the line 2 right winger, and it's either going to be with Carlson and Stevenson, or if Coach Cassidy decides to go back to Nick Waugh as the fourth line center. But either way, I think right now, as it sits, line 2 right wing, basically Mark Stone's old spot. A couple more notes about Mantha. There's a nice video. The first thing that usually comes up when you YouTube him is him just pummeling the crap out of Nick Cousins. So that's certainly a nice thing that Golden Knight fans will definitely welcome. And like I said, it's just a good middle six clog, if you will. I don't know what the best way to say that is, but it's a good player who's going to do the right things. And something important to note here, it's not just about the player and his stats, but the Golden Knights do generally look at character, locker room, and other things that he can bring to the team. So I think just the fact that the Golden Knights did make this deal does say he's going to be a very positive influence in the locker room. They're not just looking for a rental for stats who's going to sit in the corner and, be gone in 3 months. They're looking for someone who's going to bring some positivity and maybe a morale boost.
We'll talk about that later on. But I think that as well, equally important is the way that Mantha battles for the puck. And he uses that big body, and that's what they're lacking right now. That's why I think they made this move as quickly as they possibly could, because they are getting beat, and we're watching this, and it's just been really bad because of the lack of hustle and effort and will as well.
Honey, how
Coming up
many times have I'm sorry, really fast? Like, how many times has Cassidy said that players aren't winning their puck battles and stuff lately? You watch what this guy does; he wins battles. There you go, Tony. There you go.
Coming up next, what is VGK's cap situation, and are more trades coming? Yes, you're nodding yes. Okay, we'll get to
I'm
all that when
actually
we return.
sniffling, but I muted the microphone because it sounded
Stinking
really bad,
allergies
but
are
yeah.
awful. We'll get to all that when we return right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contest. What players would you take this week to win 100 times your cash? Fans can also play daily fantasy NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, college football, and all that on Sleeper. And you can connect with other fans. Entries are typically made within the first minute. And all you have to do is pick whether a lot of the studs like McKinnon and Kucherov, all those guys will score points. They're over 100 points now. And again, Sleeper gives you the projections that you have to beat for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in a given game. To win 100 times your bet, make sure that you go to Sleeper and you have to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. And you heard us, VGK fans, you can win 100 times your money by playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention. Nail your picks so that you could start winning big. Use the promo code LOCKDOWNNHL. You'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply, and that is code LOCKDOWNNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use. We are also brought to you today by Robinhood. That's right. Did you know that even if you have a little 401k money left for retirement, you can still have an IRA? That's right. Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar that you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. And get this, now through April the 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar that you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April the 30th. Get started at Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal information. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Welcome back. Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in each and every day, making us your first listen. Find us wherever you get your podcast, and definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, where I was getting a lot of heat yesterday. I'm such a good dude, man. Why are people blasting me? I don't understand this, Chris. What's going on? Turn your mic on. That would be nice. Yeah.
Low hanging fruit. Sorry, I'm telling everyone about how they can become a millionaire today with me. My bad. My bad.
Go ahead. What are you talking about? Go.
I've got the perfect get rich quick scheme going on right now. So my business is opening box after box of hockey cards for people. We hit another McDavid autograph last night, by the way.
What's the value of that? Something like that?
Probably about $1,000 card, maybe $800,
nice.
$700.
Nice.
So today is the release of Upper Deck Series 2 that has the Connor Bedard Young Gun card. Dave Adams, a very big retail outlet, I guess, has placed a $1 million bounty on the 1-of-1 gold outburst Connor Bedard Young Gun. So if you pull that on my stream, or any stream, but my stream is what I got, it's in my boxes. I hope it is, at least. If you pull it, that's $1 million should you decide to sell it to Dave Adams. So hit me up on Twitter, and I'll get you in if you want to check it out.
Okay, that's really cool. So good luck there.
$1 million. Let's go.
Let's go.
Just don't forget your breaker when it happens.
Yeah, don't forget your breaker. Okay, so VGK could still do more shopping with 4.4 million remaining.
Will do more shopping.
Will do more shopping. Probably get a Bjorn or an Anthony. Again, they're just all over me. 4.4 million remaining at cap space. Reports yesterday that Vladimir Tarasenko wants to perhaps now play with the Florida Panthers, stinking front runner. And he has that no trade clause, the full no trade clause. So he has to approve that. But there's reports that he said that he wants to play in Florida. And Edmonton's still on the hunt trying to acquire Tarasenko, Chris, as well. Also, a report that Jake Gensel could be headed to Vancouver in a 3-team trade. We could anticipate something like that can happen today. Is VGK still in the mix for either of those two players?
VGK is in the mix for another scoring winger, no questions asked. There's not a world that exists where they make this trade for Mantha and, okay, this is the team that's going to go win the Stanley Cup. No, Mantha is a very nice quality addition, but let's just assume Mark Stone is out of the picture until the end of the postseason. Like, he's not coming back this season. Let's just assume the worst. I don't think this is still a Stanley Cup caliber team. They're going to get better, of course, but I don't think McCrimmon thinks it's a Stanley Cup caliber team. So yes, long story longer, 100% McCrimmon is going to make another splashy move, and it's not going to be another Mantha. It's going to be next level.
Next level. Okay. Do they go into some sort of a bidding war to get a Tarasenko? What do they do to get Gensel?
They will do whatever it takes to get one more player, either a player that's been being mentioned, like you said, in the Tarasenko category. Gensel, I don't know. I mean, supposedly today is the day Gensel is going to get moved, if you're reading the reports out of Pittsburgh. I've made my perspective known on Gensel. I'm not a fan of the situation, but if that's what McCrimmon says, I'll become a fan very quickly because I trust McCrimmon when it comes to whatever's going to happen. So let's go over the Golden Knights situation today as it stands. Right now, and this is where this trade for Mantha just gets better and better. Like you said earlier, the Washington Capitals kept half of his salary.
So stupid.
Tony, say so. There it is.
No, it's pretty silly. So why would they do that? Okay.
Because they wanted that second round draft pick, Tony. They wanted that second round draft pick. They liked it. F those picks, by the way. All right. So right now, the Golden Knights have $4.4 million to work with as far as available cap space. Their 23-man roster is full at the moment, but there's still one contract space available for the team to acquire a player without shipping a contract out. Mason Morelli accounts for $775,000. Byron Frais counts for $762,000. If and when both of those players go back down to the AHL, back down to the American League, now all of a sudden the Golden Knights are at $5.93 million. Brett Howden, 1.9, William Carrier, 1.4, Pavel Dorofeev, $825,000. Those situations are getting weird. We don't know what's going on. Dorofeev, we're assuming, is a lingering concussion situation, could be season ending, could be on the ice next week. Will Carrier, we thought was close for a long time, and it doesn't seem like he's getting any closer. We'll probably get an update today.
Cooking the books
at practice.
They're cooking the books.
Brett Howden goes from day to day to IR all of a sudden. So that's $1.9 million. So, I mean, the Golden Knights, depending on what happens with these other injured players, there's a lot of money to work with. Tarasenko, I like. Buchnevich, I'm okay if that's the path that they go with. I mean, you're talking a 76-point scorer back in 21-22. Yeah, 67 points other seasons. That would be a very quality addition to the team. Like I said, if it's Gensel, so be it. But it wouldn't surprise me if there's a splashy player who's no one is talking about at all that the Golden Knights go for, like this year's version of Barbashev.
Could very well happen. And by the way, Gensel gets off of LTIR on March the 10th. Okay, so
2 days after the trade deadline.
Yeah, so he'll be back and he's ready to go. Fans want to know.
Is he?
Yeah, March 10th. Yep. Fans want to know what is in Kelly McCrimmon's shopping cart right now, because I know he does all of his shopping online before checkout. What does he have in that shopping cart?
I mean, I think it's any combination. I think he's probably been up all night working the phones and stuff and trying to see this is where when you have these trade pieces, right, you're looking for the best deal. So you have that Moneyball scene with Brad Pitt and everything, working the phones with 4 different GMs and stuff. And, the GMs are trying to find a way to maybe undercut someone, or maybe they do like a small trade to block someone. Who knows? This is the chess game. This is where you get to see what your GM is really made of. I love McCrimmon and the job that he does, but he's not the only good GM out there. Let's be clear about this. The McCrimmon plan has been realized, and now we're looking at McCrimmon plan 2.0, so to speak, to see how he can dig this year's Golden Knights team, out of out of the funk, out of the slump, out of the, all we're talking are forwards. Is there something that happens with a defenseman right now? Like,
or the goaltender?
Is a player like Zach Whitecloud available, or a goaltender? It's fun. I mean, I think they're married to the goaltending situation. I think that's a right
good move. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's a good move. I'm not saying if I agree or disagree with that. I'm concerned 100%. I think listen, Aiden Hill is here no matter what. Logan Thompson would be, obviously, if the trade's going to get, you're not keeping 3 goalies going into the playoffs. You can't. It just doesn't make sense right now. So are they going to ship Logan Thompson? Like, are you going to ship Logan Thompson for a veteran, just to keep Aiden Hill honest? I don't think that just seems strange, but
no, maybe you don't
could see something happening in the defense.
Yeah. Maybe you don't ship a goalie. Also, like Alec Martinez, everyone's trade him. Who wants Martinez right now? I don't think doesn't have the value. Come on.
Let's just assume for a second the Golden Knights were going to trade Alec Martinez. How does it happen? If you're trading Alec Martinez and his $5.2 million cap, and I think I got that right, it's going to be to a contender. All right, number one. So is a contender just going to take him off your books for future considerations? I mean, like, his contract is up next year. Like, if the Golden Knights are going to somehow acquire 2 major superstars, then fine, make that happen and give Martinez away. But I don't think there's too many players out there that are going to do that. And it's a Western Conference contender would not take Alec Martinez off the Golden Knights books, because that only strengthens the Golden Knights. So it'd have to be an Eastern Conference contender. And now Martinez does have a modified no trade clause, so that plays in as well. So I think Martinez is here to stay this year, and next year will work itself out.
I have to ask this question. Why? Because I need more comments on YouTube. Was this a fleece job by the made man? I mean, Washington's paying half of his salary, for crying out loud.
A second-round pick, and for a team that does not historically develop draft picks, at least not as many as other franchises, I think it looks really good from the Vegas side. Going through comments on X and stuff, there are a lot of people that are using that term fleece job, saying the Golden Knights came out on the better side of it. So I think so. I mean, listen, Mantha's a good player. Is he, the difference maker that's going to bring this team to the cup by himself? No, but he's a good start. So what does this trade lead to, I think, is the bigger question. And then that'll really show how strong of a trade this was for the Golden Knights.
Does Mantha like BLTs? Let's get to the bottom of this.
We're going to find out.
Because he's going to have to catch up with the owner, Bill Foley, and eat a BLT or 2. Is making a good trade for Anthony Mantha going to help VGK's morale? Yeah, he spelled morale right there, not moral. Okay, that's coming up next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Stay with us. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and to level it up to peak performance, from superchargers to roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and much, much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you are looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. We are back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. What's up, man? Your microphone today. Turn your
You
microphone on.
said I've been sniffling and coughing over here. Leave me alone. You said someone else for the third segment. You left me scrambling there for looking for the right graphic.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry, man. You're all. That's good. This is what we do. I called an audible.
No,
Maybe
you're keeping me on my toes. Keep me on my toes. That's good. Keep me honest. You got to run a play action every now and then, Tony. Got to run that play action.
We appreciate you tuning in. Of course, find us wherever you get your podcast, and of course, to all of our folks in Denmark, a shout out. Someone corrected me yesterday. There's no windmills in Denmark. I don't know. We just get stupid crazy on this show. Thanks to we went to Cactus Doral. It's a elementary school and middle school yesterday for reading week with the Vegas Thrill, and that was a lot of fun. We brought 3 players out there and a lot of great questions, and you just like the look on these kids' faces. Professional athletes, they were Googling, our players and trying to find out information. And they had some really good questions. And
elementary school kids had their phones out and they were Googling.
Dude, like it's incredible. Well, this is it's an art school.
World.
It's an art school on the west side of town, right on Cactus, all the way out there. Yep. And they have kids, so kids can come out of their classrooms and just sit down in the hallway. They go from class to class. I've never seen anything like it, but there's a really good creative process, which maybe we should spend some time there to kind of learn and then make it applicable to this show, I think.
Is there a napkin note-taking class we can take?
I'm starting to sell. Are you going to sell them on your card show? $20 for signed napkins. I'll do an autograph there. $20.
I sent an email. We're not allowed to sell memorabilia, believe it or not. We can't sell merch.
We can't? Okay. Well, what if you get the golden napkin? That's worth, no, that's not worth $1 million. Okay, where are we? Why the Mantha trade is a morale boost. This is something you wanted to talk about. Morale boost, any change, I think, would be a good change at this juncture for VGK.
It's the personnel move is nice and everything, but why it's a morale boost is Kelly McCrimmon is saying he believes in the core of this team that is still healthy. He's saying he believes in the job Cassidy is doing. He's saying he supports the goaltenders right now. McCrimmon, again, is going to push all of his chips into the middle of that pot and going to hope, obviously, to hit that draw on the turn or the river, just like he did last year and winning a Stanley Cup in the trades that got made as the deadline got closer and closer. So this is a morale boost because McCrimmon believes, obviously McPhee, of course, believes, and Bill Foley believes. They all have to sign off on all of this. I'm 100% sure all those 3 men need to come together in agreement when it comes to what's going to happen, what the entire plan is right now. So it's exciting for the players because I don't think Marchessault or Stevenson are going anywhere now. I mean, I was concerned that was possibly on the horizon after that Blue Jackets game. That was, like you said, I think yesterday, rock bottom, right, Tony? That was as rock bottom as it gets. Basically 24 hours later, McCrimmon says, listen, I believe here's Mantha, and just let me do my thing. Let me cook for a little while longer in the lab up at City National and see what else he can come up with for this team. So exciting times. The season is not being given up on. The Golden Knights are not doing a white flag trade like we see so many times in sports. That just really pisses off the fan base. So Golden Knights they might have a run in them again. They just might have a run in them again right now. This is still largely the same team that just won the Stanley Cup. Of course, Mark Stone, big piece that's missing. McCrimmon's going to do his best to replace that, and obviously some of the other injured players.
VGK has given up a lot of assets, if you will. The second rounder this year that we talked about that's going to Washington, but they also gave up their third, their fourth, and their seventh. But they also, here's my opinion, Chris, I think that they need to get rid of some of these players in Henderson. I really do. I think they have a lot of like pieces, and I think that they still have value that they could put into some deals, especially if they want to get someone who is a scorer. They need scorers right now, and they need players that play with heart and hustle on each and every play, and players that have nice cars that could get detailed while they're practicing every day.
Pacioretty's not coming back. Stop it. No, the Henderson pieces you got to be careful of, because you look at all the Henderson pieces that have come up and contributed this year, not just the scoring side, but like a Jonas Rondbjerg, who did come up and do a good
From
job killing
Denmark? Is he
penalties.
from Denmark too?
Sweden, I believe. I could be
Okay.
wrong. Or maybe it is Denmark. I think someone might have said he's from Denmark. I don't know. I don't know.
When
I'm
they were
getting confused
blasting me
on all
yesterday,
this
someone said
geography,
Denmark.
apparently.
Okay.
So you look at what Rondbjerg's done. You look at what Fraze has done. Of course, Morelli, he's doing very well. On the defensive side, Cormier and Caden Korzak, that's someone who we haven't even talked about in a long time. He did really well at the NHL level, possibly outside of Ben Hutton, the best NHL-ready defenseman on the Golden Knights, in the Golden Knights stable right now. I never even mentioned Brendan Brisson in there as well, and the job that Sheldon Rempel is doing. So without all those players coming in and contributing in small pockets, it would have been possibly a different season as we're coming into March 6th, just 52 hours between right now and the trade deadline as we're recording this. And there's another piece to this too, right? You can only move a player up and down so many times until the waivers exemption goes away. I think it's one of the reasons we haven't seen Rondbjerg. I think he's on his last one. Once he's up, he's up. So that's why you do need more of these pieces. I'm not saying it's not out of the realm of possibility that Brisson is on the move in the next 52 hours. It could happen. It's going to be a big move if it does happen. I mean, that's literally the biggest piece you could see. I think the next biggest player with good trade value would either be Cormier or Caden Korzak. Both of those players, especially Korzak, he's an NHL ready defenseman who I think does draw into the lineup on a daily basis next season, depending, of course, what happens with Martinez.
Currently, the Kings, they now are in a tie with VGK for points, but they are percentage points ahead of VGK. Golden Knights, second wild card now. They're the last team in that when
They're
we
the
talk
8th
about
seed,
March
really?
Madness. I think so, right?
5, 8, 9. Technically, Nashville is the eighth seed because they are 100th, 1/10th. They are 1/100th lower in the standings as far as points.
Okay, but they're
goes.
8-0, 8-0 since they got stiffed on the U2 show here in Vegas. 8-0,
8-1-1. Well, 8-0 or 8-1 either way. Yeah, they lost an overtime game. So yeah, you're right. Tony's right. Everybody,
I'm right for once. And then the Canucks now. Oh yeah, Chris, VGK plays them 100 times down the stretch. Not really, but
14 points.
VGK,
14 points.
14 points back. They're not going to catch Vancouver. Come on.
I mean, listen, I think something important to acknowledge is what the floor is right now for the playoffs. Right now, the Golden Knights are on the floor. I don't think they're going to be on the floor at the end of the season, but at this moment, the Golden Knights are the floor at 73 points. 67 for the Blues, 64 for the Wild. They've slowed down. They were hot for a while.
Yeah.
Seattle Kraken, 67 points, but it looks like they're going to be sellers. Flames already have been selling. So I think the Golden Knights, unless Minnesota really cranks it up, which they could, I think the Golden Knights are safe as far. Kraken they're selling. Alexander Wenberg's going to get traded.
Okay, they have like 2 or 3 games remaining.
At least 2, right?
Kraken, and then because it's so stinking rigged, no more games against the Kings. All right, whoa, we're already deep into the show. We better get out of here. Of course, we appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much, especially our everydayers. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of these lovely comments on YouTube. Keep those coming. And, of course, save some for Friday for WTF. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. The Chris and Chris Show, the YouTube exclusive. I forgot to mention that on Saturdays as well.
That's okay.
I got that in there. All right, for Chris, I'm Tony, and we appreciate you all tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.